Do you know what's much worse than never falling asleep again? Finally drifting off at 4 a.m., only to wake up with dementia creeping through your brain. You stare at the clock showing 3:47 a.m. for the fourth night this week. Exhaustion crushes you. Your mind screams, "I'm losing my memory." And your first impulse is to reach for another sleeping pill or drink that glass of wine that promises instant relief. Stop if you take that extra pill. You're now poisoning your brain's repair system. You're not going to get restful sleep. You're going to crash into a toxic coma that will leave your neurons drowning in waste products. The result? Tomorrow, you won't wake up refreshed, but foggy and confused, one step closer to forgetting your grandchildren's names. You'll go from being mentally sharp to being a shadow of your former self, or you'll end up staring blankly at family photos, unable to remember when they were taken. The enemy is not sleeplessness. It's your desperation and your ignorance. Forget everything you think you know. In this video, I'm going to teach you the only emergency method to hack your brain's sleep switch and protect your cognitive future right now. Your mental clarity depends on the next 5 minutes. Let's go back to that nightmare scene because I need you to understand exactly what is happening inside your skull as you stare at that clock with 3:47 a.m. glowing in the darkness. The moment your eyes register another sleepless hour, your brain doesn't say, "Oh, I'm having a little trouble sleeping, aren't I?" Your primitive brain, the survival part of us that we've had since prehistoric times, interprets that wakefulness as a life-threatening emergency. Your brain screams, "There's danger! Stay alert or die!" And here begins the neurological tragedy. To keep you vigilant against that imaginary threat, your nervous system floods your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. Do you know what these stress hormones do? They give an immediate order to your brain cells. Stay hyperactive. Your neurons, which should be winding down and entering repair mode, instantly become overcharged electrical circuits. It's a defense response to keep you alert in case of predators, but in this context, it's your cognitive death sentence. It's pure neurochemistry. If your brain stays electrically hyperactive and your exhausted mind races harder, what happens to sleep? It becomes impossible. Then you make the mistake of checking the time again 10 minutes later to see if you're getting drowsy, but now it's not 3:47, now it's 3:57 or 4:15. The panic multiplies. You enter what we sleep specialists call the insomnia feedback loop. You become your own mental executioner. It's not sleeplessness that's destroying your brain's cleaning system. It's your terror. You're trapped in a cage with a monster of your own making. And as your heart pounds against your ribs, your mind travels to the future that terrifies you most. It's not tiredness that makes your hands shake, it's the image of yourself. 6 months from now, asking your daughter the same question 3 times in one conversation. It's the image of standing in your own kitchen, confused about where you keep the coffee. You think of your independence, your sharp wit, your ability to help your family solve problems. Do you really want to become that person who can't remember if they took their medication? Do you want to be the parent who gets lost driving to the grocery store they've visited 1,000 times? Who needs someone to remind them to eat, and slowly fades into a confused shell of who they used to be? Cognitive decline is a fate more cruel than physical illness, ending up asking strangers, "Where am I?" while your own children become distant faces you can't quite place. That is the true price of not knowing how to rescue your brain's nightly repair cycle. Before I go on and tell you how to break this hellish cycle, I need you to do something for your future self. If you value your mental sharpness and want to age with your intelligence intact, subscribe to this channel right now. I'm not asking you for a favor. I'm offering you a lifeline of information that your doctor doesn't have time to explain to you. Hit the red button. Do it for your cognitive future. Now that you're listening, I know what you're thinking of doing. Your hand is on the medicine cabinet. You're thinking, "I'll take an extra Ambien or melatonin and knock myself out." Listen to me carefully. If you do that, you're making the most dangerous mistake of your mental life. Let me explain why that extra pill is the perfect trap for your brain. Do you think that emergency sleeping pill works like a power button? You take it, and your consciousness shuts down instantly. False. That's a lie your desperate mind is telling you. Sleep pharmacology doesn't work that way. When you swallow an extra dose of your usual sleep medication, it takes between 30 minutes and 90 minutes to reach peak concentration in your brain tissue. But you're impatient, you're panicking, you take the pill, you wait 20 minutes, you're still wide awake, and surprise, your mind is still racing. Why? Because the drug hasn't fully activated yet, but the adrenaline from the panic is still surging. This is where the neurological catastrophe occurs. 2 hours later, when the original dose combines with the extra pill you took, and your body finally starts producing natural sleep chemicals, the result is a chemical crash. Your consciousness doesn't gently drift into natural sleep. It plummets into a drugged stupor with brain activity dropping to dangerous levels. You are causing severe nervous system depression. Think of your brain as a sophisticated cleaning factory that operates at night. If the chemical sedation is too powerful, the workers don't just slow down, they completely shut down. Your brain's waste removal system, the glymphatic pathway, stops functioning. You leave toxic proteins and cellular debris floating in your brain tissue all night. You're afraid of staying awake, but by artificially forcing unconsciousness, you're creating the perfect scenario for accelerated brain aging. The metabolic waste accumulates instead of being flushed out. Amyloid plaques begin forming, and boom, you've just spent 8 hours marinating your neurons in their own toxic waste. Congratulations. Trying to avoid one sleepless night, you have created the perfect conditions for cognitive decline that destroys millions of your brain cells over months. And if that weren't enough, you make the second fatal mistake. You stay in bed, feel groggy, and your instinct tells you, stay horizontal, rest more. This is a serious mistake when you lie there in a chemical fog for 10 or 12 hours. You disrupt your natural circadian rhythm. Your brain clock gets confused about when it's supposed to be alert and when it's supposed to sleep. It's like trying to reset a watch by hitting it with a hammer. If you already had sleep cycle disruption, by oversleeping in a drugged state, you are programming your brain to expect chemical assistance every night. Your natural sleep-wake system shuts down like an unused muscle. Have you ever made the mistake of taking extra sleep medication out of desperation? If the answer is yes, like this video, I need to know how many of you have been slowly poisoning your brain's repair system without knowing it. So, if you can't take extra pills because they're neurotoxic and you can't just lie there because it disrupts your sleep clock, what the hell do you do? Do you just sit there counting sheep until dawn? There's no way to force your brain into artificial unconsciousness safely. You don't need a pharmacy, you just need to know where the sleep switch in your nervous system is, and I'm going to show you right now. What I'm about to reveal to you now is what differentiates a person who ends up with chronic insomnia from one who sleeps like a baby. It's not magic, it's pure neuroscience applied to sleep recovery. First, the environment. If staying in bed is counterproductive, what do? Get up. But not just any old way. You need to create a sleep pressure reset by leaving your sleep space completely. Go to a different room, sit in a comfortable chair with dim lighting, and resist the urge to check your phone or turn on the TV. This way, you break the mental association between your bed and wakefulness, instantly removing the psychological pressure that's keeping your mind alert. Now we're going to hack your nervous system. Remember that your brain screams danger. The only way to silence it is not with positive thoughts, but with parasympathetic activation. We're going to use the vagus nerve, your body's natural tranquilizer. The technique is 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold your breath, counting to 7. Exhale through your mouth, counting to 8. Do this 4 cycles. By doing this, you are sending a biological signal to your brain that says, if I can breathe this slowly and hold my breath this long, there is no immediate threat. Your brain is forced, neurologically forced, to shift into rest and digest mode. Your stress hormones plummet, and your natural sleep chemicals begin flowing again. But here comes the real secret. The atomic bomb against insomnia that almost no sleep specialists know about. Progressive muscle exhaustion technique. I want you to go find a wall right now. Place your hands flat against it and push as hard as you can for exactly 30 seconds, as if you're trying to move the wall. Your muscles will burn, your arms will shake. Do you know what happens in that magical moment when you stop pushing? A phenomenon called post-contraction relaxation occurs. Your nervous system floods your muscles with natural relaxation chemicals. Your brain releases endorphins, and most importantly, your body temperature begins to drop. The biological signal that tells your brain it's time to sleep. This muscle exhaustion technique triggers the same sleep preparation that our ancestors experienced after a day of physical labor. Your body recognizes the signal. Work is done. It's time to rest. No chemicals, no side effects, no risk of dependency. It's your body preparing itself for natural sleep. This technique should be taught in every sleep clinic and senior center. Share this video right now in your family groups. It's not just another sleep tip. It's a tool that could save your cognitive future tonight. Now you have the weapons to defend your sleep. You know how to breathe and how to trigger your body's natural relaxation response. But wait a second. What if all this panic about sleeplessness was for nothing? What if I told you that the insomnia that's been terrorizing you was actually caused by invisible mistakes you're making every single day? There is sleep sabotage committed by 90% of older adults without them even realizing it. You've spent the last week exhausted, thinking about sleep aids and doctor visits, your mind foggy because of those sleepless nights. But what if I told you that your insomnia is self-inflicted? What if I told you that you actually have the ability to sleep normally, and that you've been accidentally training your brain to stay awake? Welcome to the world of sleep hygiene sabotage. Most elderly people who think they have chronic insomnia don't have a sleep disorder. They have a lifestyle disorder. They are unknowingly using their daily habits as weapons against their own rest. Let's do the math on this disaster. First, the afternoon coffee. You drink your last cup of coffee at 2 p.m., thinking, it's early, it won't affect my sleep. Mistake. Caffeine has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours in older adults. That innocent 2 p.m. coffee is still 50% active in your bloodstream at 10 p.m. It's like trying to fall asleep with a low-dose stimulant in your system. With this habit alone, you have just stolen 2 to 3 hours of potential sleep from yourself. Second, the evening news marathon. You sit in your living room watching disturbing news stories, political arguments, and tragic events right up until bedtime, flooding your mind with stress and anxiety. That cortisol spike from watching reports about crime and disasters translates into hypervigilance. Boom. Another hour of tossing and turning that you created yourself. Third, and this is the most destructive of all, the bedroom furnace. You keep your bedroom at 72 degrees because you don't want to be cold, but your brain needs your core body temperature to drop by 2 to 3 degrees to trigger sleep. Hormones. You're literally overheating your sleep mechanism. Your optimal sleep temperature is between 65-68 degrees. And fourth, the screen addiction. Did you check your phone one last time while lying in bed? That blue light hits your retinas and sends a signal to your brain saying, it's daytime, stay alert. The melatonin production that should be flooding your system gets completely shut down. Now add it up with me. Your natural ability to sleep, minus afternoon caffeine, minus evening stress, minus overheating, minus blue light exposure equals chronic insomnia. Congratulations, you've just created a sleep disorder out of thin air. You've been fighting a battle against an enemy you created yourself. And here comes the hardest advice to follow. Stop trying so hard to sleep. The more you chase sleep, the more it runs away from you. If you lie in bed thinking, I must fall asleep, I must fall asleep, you create performance anxiety around sleep itself. It's the definition of counterproductive effort. If you've been awake for more than 20 minutes, get out of bed, go to another room, do a quiet activity, and only return when you feel genuinely drowsy. That second attempt at sleep is natural. The first was anxiety talking. I want you to be honest. Go to the comments section now and write, "I sabotage my own sleep." If you've been doing any of these sleep-destroying habits, don't be ashamed. Recognizing the sabotage is the first step to sleeping naturally again. Now you know that panic is your enemy, that extra pills are brain poison, that you have techniques to activate your natural sleep system, and that you are probably accidentally keeping yourself awake. But we still have the most important part left. All of this is useless if you go back to your old habits tomorrow. Chronic insomnia is a silent destroyer that waits patiently for you to forget this video so it can steal your mental sharpness again. How? Make sure you never experience this cognitive nightmare again. Let's finish this. Maybe tonight you'll be saved. Maybe you'll apply the breathing technique, use the muscle exhaustion method, calm your nervous system, and finally drift into restorative sleep. You'll wake up feeling somewhat refreshed, thinking, "Whew, it's over." But make no mistake, my friend, the war is not over. Chronic insomnia is like a patient thief hiding in your own routine. Today you caught it and fought it off because I taught you to recognize its tricks, but tomorrow the thief will still be there, waiting to steal your cognitive future one sleepless night at a time. If you think that because you've hacked your sleep once, you're safe, you're deluding yourself. The sleep aids you take occasionally don't cure you. They just put a temporary bandage on a lifestyle that's rotting your sleep system from the inside. If you continue to drink coffee past noon, if you continue to overheat your bedroom and scroll through disturbing news before bed, and if you continue to let anxiety and poor sleep hygiene control your nights, no technique in the world will save you from progressive cognitive decline. What we have done today is emergency sleep medicine, preventing your brain from going another night without its essential cleaning cycle. But the real goal is not to barely survive night after night of insomnia. The goal is for your natural sleep-wake system to become robust and reliable again. The goal is for you to be able to put your head on the pillow and drift off naturally, without fear or chemical assistance. I don't want you to be that confused elderly person that everyone watches with sadness at family gatherings because they can't follow the conversation anymore. I don't want your children to have to argue about who's going to supervise you this weekend because you can't be trusted to remember important things. I want you to be the sharp grandparent, the one who remembers every birthday, the one who shares wisdom, the one who stays mentally vibrant until their last breath. That mental clarity is possible, but you have to fight for it. You have to stop being a victim of sleeplessness and become the master of your rest. Today you learned to defend your sleep. Maybe the breathing technique saved you from another night of cognitive damage, but don't kid yourself. The sleep thief is still prowling around your bedroom. Chronic insomnia doesn't just magically disappear. If tomorrow you go back to your routine of afternoon caffeine, evening screens, and bedroom anxiety, next time your brain won't be so resilient. Cognitive decline is patient. It will wait for you to let your guard down to leave you staring blankly, forgetting names, depending on others to remember your medication schedule. Don't let that be your end. You have two choices right now. Close this video and pray the sleeplessness doesn't come back, or take control of your sleep architecture. If you choose mental clarity, subscribe now. In the next video, I'm going to reveal the hidden sleep destroyers in your evening routine that are turning your bedroom into a cognitive battlefield. Don't gamble with your brain's future. Hit the button, activate the bell, and see you in the next sleep laboratory. Choose to stay sharp.